Assalamu alaikum. Hello viewers, hope you are all well and enjoying your life. I welcome you all to the channel of Learn with MW. So viewers, don't go anywhere. We're starting the part 8 of pronoun. So viewers, basically in part 7 we have discussed about the use of relative pronoun who. We also discussed the use of relative pronoun whose, and we also discussed the use of relative pronoun whom. So if you missed that video, go to the channel and watch that video. Now viewers, in part 8 we will discussing the further use of relative pronoun which, date, what, and some older relative pronoun which are is and but. So stay connected in this video. Engage with us. You will learn use of relative pronoun in a very grammatical and conceptual way. So let's begin it. So now look at which is basically a relative pronoun. And viewers, I have told you in the part 6 of pronoun that which is basically which have same nominative, same nominative, same nominative and objective case. So if you missed part 6 of the pronoun, you can also go to the channel. I have made a playlist. You can search it out. Now look at which is mentioned, that which is also in the nominative and accusative case, the same case, and it have no possessive genitive case. We have mentioned that who is basically in the nominative case, the who accusative case is basically whom, and possessive case is whose, but which have basically same nominative and objective case, and it have no genitive case. So now we will discussing the use of relative pronoun which, because which is basically the relative pronoun. So remember that the native writer have written in their book that they're basically which basically refer to two things. The first thing is it refers to the things without life. And the second, which also refers to the animals, which the native writer have written in their book that there are basically two usage of relative pronoun which in English grammar, and these are, number first usage is that which basically refer to the things without life, and we all know things without life basically mean non-living things. So which basically refer to the non-living things. Now viewers, and the second usage of which is that which basically refer to the animals. Now through example we will learn it that how which refer to the non-living thing and how which refer to the animal. So look at in this example, the books which help you most are those which make you think most. A very good sentence. So now look at in this example, books are basically non-living things. That's why we use which is basically a relative pronoun in this sentence. So this is basically the example of this statement, that which refer to the things which without life, which are non-living things. So books is basically non-living thing. That's why we use the relative pronoun which. Now look at the second example, the horse which I recently bought is an Arab. So look at horse is basically animal. As we all know, horse is basically an animal. That's why in this sentence we use which is basically a relative pronoun, because we have learned that which also refer to the animals in a sentence. So we have learned the two usage of the relative pronoun. The first is that which refer to the things without life, which basically things without life are the non-living things. And the second usage of relative pronoun which is that which refer to the animals as well. So now viewers, we have learned the usage of relative pronoun which. Now we will discussing the use of relative pronoun date. So viewers, now we will discussing the use of relative pronoun date in English grammar. So look at date. Date is basically a relative pronoun in English grammar, and in part 6 I have told you viewers that date have also same nominative and Objective case. Objective case. That have basically same nominative case. It means that that is also in nominative case, which is basically a subjective case, and that is also in objective case, which is basically in accusative case. And I have told you in part 6 that that have no possessive case. That have no possessive case. Hope you guys go through channel and watch that video. So now look at that have the same nominative in accusative case, and that have no possessive case, which is basically genitive case. Now look at the native writer have written in their book that that refer to the two things. The first one is that refers to persons. First usage of relative pronoun, that is that they refer to persons. And the second usage of relative pronoun, that is that that also refers to the things. To things. So these are the two usage of relative pronoun that has been mentioned and written by the native writer in their book. The two usage of relative pronoun are, the first usage is that refer to the persons. This is very important. And that also refer to the things. So now we will learn through examples. So look at the first example. This is the boy that I told you of. This is the boy that I told you of. So look at, boy is basically person. That's why we use a relative pronoun that in English grammar. And who don't know relative pronouns, so we use relative pronoun are that pronoun that basically refer or carries back to the noun or pronoun that are mentioned in a sentence. And that noun and pronoun, we call it antecedent. If you guys know it, because I have mentioned it in part 7 in a very detailed, in a very grammatical and conceptual way. Go through the channel and watch compulsory part 6 and part 7 of pronouns. You will understand in a very grammatical and conceptual way about relative pronoun. So now look at, this is the boy, this is basically that relative pronoun because it carries back to the noun and pronoun that are mentioned. So noun is basically boy and a person, that's why we use relative pronoun that. Now look at the second usage that refer to the things. So look at, I have lost the watch. So look at, watch is basically thing. Watch is basically thing, and that is basically a relative pronoun. Why we use relative pronoun that? Because it carries back to the noun and pronoun. So watch is basically noun, and that are previously mentioned in sentence. That's why that is a relative pronoun, and we use that because that refer to the things. So viewers, we have learned it. That the usage of relative pronoun in English grammar, there are two usage. The first usage of relative pronoun, that is that it refer to the person, and the second usage is that refer to the things. So we will now discuss the usage of relative pronoun what in English grammar. So as I mentioned in part 6 that we have discussed in part 6 about the forms of relative pronoun. We have discussed the form of who, we also discussed the form of which, we also discussed the form of that, and we also discussed the form of what. These are all relative pronouns. So if you missed that video, I request you go to the channel, watch the complete video. You will know the full concept of relative pronoun in English grammar. So now look at, as I mentioned earlier, that what have basically the same nominative, and objective case, which is basically an accusative case. So now we will discussing the usage of relative pronoun word in English grammar. So remember that the native writer have written in their book that what only refers to the things. So this is basically the only usage of relative pronoun word in English grammar. What only refer to the things. And remember that one strange thing about relative pronoun. What is that? As I mentioned earlier, that relative pronoun are that pronoun or a special type of pronoun that basically refer or carry us back to the noun or pronoun that are mentioned in a sentence. But what is a very special type of relative pronoun? Why it is a special type of relative pronoun? Question may come in the mind. So the answer is this, that what is used without an antecedent express. Antecedent. Hope you guys understand about antecedent express. So there will be no antecedent when we be using relative pronoun what in English grammar. And I mentioned earlier that noun and pronoun that are mentioned previously in a sentence, we call it antecedent in English grammar. The noun and pronoun that are basically mentioned previously in a sentence, we call it antecedent. So the strange thing about what, which is basically relative pronoun, is that it is used without an antecedent express. Will be no antecedent express. And as mentioned earlier, what basically means, the meaning of what is the things which. This is basically the grammatical meaning of what? The things which. So now we will learn. So viewers, now we will learn through example that how what refer to the things. So look at the first example. The first example is I say what I mean. So viewers, if I hide what, then the statement will be like this. I say the things which I mean. So what basically refer to the things, and it is, look at that, it is used without an antecedent. An antecedent are the noun or pronoun that are previously mentioned in sentence. So what is basically referring to the things, and it means the things which, and there is no antecedent express. So all the criteria are completed. Look at the second example. What man has done, man can do. So if I hide what, the statement will be the things which man can done, man has done, man can do. So what basically mean the things which, and there are no antecedent expressed in this sentence. And look at the last example. He found what he was looking for. So if I hide what, the statement will be like this. He found the things which he was looking for. So we was look at it. What basically itself meaning is the things which, and it refer to the things, and it is used without an antecedent express. So because there are no noun and pronoun that are expressed in this sentence, and the noun and pronoun that are previously mentioned in the sentence, we call it antecedent. So what is basically a relative pronoun, and is referring to the things, and is used without an antecedent express. Hope you guys understand the usage of relative pronoun what in English grammar. So viewers, now we will discussing some older relative pronoun which are as and but they are not now used as relative pronoun in English grammar. But in order to give you some sort of information, I told you that as and but were used as relative pronoun in older English grammar. They are not now used. There is no use of relative pronoun as and but in modern English grammar, but they were used in older English grammar. So look at, there were two situations in which we will be using, and the older grammarian were using as relative pronoun. The two situations was that the relative pronoun as is basically used after the word same and after the word such. So there are basically two conditions. After this word same and after the word such, they are the two conditions when the older grammarian were using as relative pronoun. Look at the example. The first example is my trouble is the same as your. So after the word same, as use as relative pronoun. Look at, he is such a man as I honor. So such, and after such as were used as relative pronoun. And but was a very interesting relative pronoun. It was used after negative. It was used after negative statement. It will be used after negative statement in older English grammar. So look at, there is no rose. So there's basically a negative statement. So but were used after a negative statement as a relative pronoun in English grammar. Hope you guys understand this. This is not a compulsory to remember nowadays, but I want to give some sort of information that as and but were also used as a relative pronoun in older English grammar. So viewers, In this video, we have discussed about the usage of relative pronoun in a very grammatical and conceptual way. And we also have discussed about some older relative pronoun, the usage of older relative pronoun which were as and but. So viewers, if you like this video, share this video with your friends, like and subscribe the channel as well. And don't forget to comment. Thank you very much.